Yo, what's up, my beautiful people? I want to thank you for tuning in to another Sistas review, I guess if that's what you want to call it. But I told you guys I was doing another video in addition to the review. I talked to a lot of people via Twitter, Instagram. A lot of content goes on in those messages. And so I thought it would be a great idea to share some of those things with the rest of the my supporters so you guys can kind of see my perspective on certain things that I may or may not put into the review. So this is what this is. And so there has been a lot of talk on a lot of these Facebook groups, and a lot of people have brought this up to me. So whenever I do a video, it's going to be something that has garnered a lot of attention. And this is one of them. A lot of people believe that Zach is so in love with Fatima that he's moved on, that he's just in, bliss right now. I think he's in bliss, but it's sexual bliss. Many people, on the other hand, believe that Aaron is a rebound. And so it had me to thinking, like, do y'all know what being a rebound is? I don't know. Maybe everyone has a different perspective or a different definition. And so I do apologize if I sound extra raspy right now, but your girl is tired. And I should have did this video earlier, but things happen. So that's what we're talking about today. Toiling with the idea if Aaron is a rebound. I personally believe he's not. I strongly believe that Fatima is a rebound. I'm going to break this thing down so we can kind of get some discussions going on what you think the role that they play in Zach's and Karen's life. So, but first I want to give y'all this definition that I saw about rebound. Okay, I thought it was very interesting, and I want to see what you guys think about it. And I got this from a website, is www.mindbodygreen.com. Don't ask me. I Googled it, and that's what first thing popped up, so that's what I went with. So it ain't nothing that deep. So basically what it says that you have a sense or even a pervasive knowing that you don't really like the person, but you're just using him or her to fill the time or distract you from your pain. Your primary attraction to the new person is sexual, and you sense that you're using sex as a way to avoid dealing with your breakup. Who does that sound like? All right. So I just want y'all, we're going to start with Zach and Fatima. So I just want y'all to chill and go on this little ride with me. So let's go to the very beginning. So when Fatima was taking Zach to the hotel, after all, she hit him on the bike, and after the meeting, she took him to the hotel because nosy ass Pam called Zach to confirm what she was doing at the hotel, sending, roses and champagne. So that put him on alert that, of course, Karen was going to this hotel with Aaron. So as they're driving, Zach says this. He says, he asked Fatima, like, let me ask you a question. And he says, women say they want a man who's kind, sensitive, and loving. You give that to them and they shit on you. And I was like, okay. So from the gate, we're seeing that Zach is making an attempt to vilify Karen to Fatima. This was the first time that this happened. And I'm just like, I don't remember the last time that Zach was loving, kind, sensitive to Karen. So I don't even know where that came from. And so then he states, I know it's over. She says it's over and that she's not doing nothing, but I know she's doing something. And so in my mind, when it's over, it's no longer your business what your ex may be doing and who they're doing it with. And so a lot of the things that we see with Zach that I believe I call him the Zach Hive, that a lot of the Zach Hive, overlooks or ignore. And Zach is a very insecure man. And I understand. I don't think that's a bad thing. He has a lot of insecurities when it comes to the lack that he has. And I believe that Zach he could put it down in the bedroom. And I believe that's why he overexerts himself in that area. It's like, oh, you let me live here? Let me give you some. Oh, you gave me the company car? Let me give you some. So sex is never an issue in the situations or relationships that Zach gets involved in. It's the other things that, he lacks. And all those things he said, kind, sensitive, and loving, he definitely lacks in those areas, in my personal opinion. So I believe Zach already had made up in his mind what he was going to do when he got to the hotel. And I think one of the damaging things that we really don't talk about when it comes to Zach is that Karen didn't lie about her feelings for Aaron. She was very open. She was very honest. Even when she was driving Zach back from the hospital, I believe that Zach thought in his mind, because I saved her, because I'm like the knight in shining armor, that they were going to immediately get back into a relationship. And Karen just wasn't on that. Karen was very definitive about seeing what could possibly happen between her and Aaron. So as they're, riding, Fatima chimes in, and she was just letting him know that, it may be over for your ex, but it definitely is not over for you. So that comment let me know that Fatima was fully aware that Zach was still in love with his ex. I will say that she knew. She understood. She even apologized. I'm sorry to hear about what's going on with you and your girl. A song came on the radio that Karen and Zach made love to. He asked her to turn it off. So he was in a very emotional state at that time. But she knew. So she wasn't blindsided. She knew very well that Zach was still heavily involved in this so-called relationship that he had just gotten out of. So fast forward, they go out, she bails Zach out of jail, and they're having a conversation at her house. I almost appreciated the conversation until Zach had to take a left down Bullshit Boulevard. And I'm like, so he tells Fatima that, no woman had ever encouraged him, like that before. And I specifically remember Karen, Andy, and Danny, especially Danny, being a soundboard of encouragement, of upliftment. Now, she gave it to him real rap raw, but she still definitely encouraged Zach. So I found that very troublesome that he would say that he's never had that in his life when we all know that, he did. And so it was also like, he made a statement. He said, Fatima was like, your girl never did that for you. And he was like, no, but she had a gift of making me feel like shit. Another vilifying moment, so it's like, so let's back up for a minute. Like I said, we go on this ride. I got to paint this picture. So if we go way back to season 1, episode 12, where Karen told Zach that she was going to watch the way that she spoke to him. And Zach says, you ain't got to do that. And then Karen reassures him that they both have things that they need to work on when it comes to their relationship. And Zach basically took all the blame for what had transpired within his relationship with Karen. And I just had to point that out and paint that picture, because Zach's perspective of his relationship with Karen changes depending upon whose presence he's in. So let me say this, ladies, pay close attention to men who continue to bring up their ex in your presence when there's absolutely no reason to. And it is interesting that Fatima, she always wants to hush him or talk about, this is no ex zone when he begins to bring up Karen. My thing is, why the hell you bringing up your ex so often? And why are you bringing her up to me when I have not asked anything about her? You know what I'm saying? I've always felt that Fatima was more into Zach, that Zach is into her. And I think sometimes, it's not far-fetched for fans to create their own narratives, based on what they want to see, you know what I'm saying, disregarding what is being played out. And I thought one of the most interesting things that, I hear is that how Zach is so moved on. He got a good woman. He got Fatima. And my thing is and I'm not saying Fatima isn't a great woman, but what makes her a good woman? What has she done to make her a good woman? I believe some people will say, well, she bailed him out. She's there for him. She encourages him. She tells him that he could do great things. Okay, great. Let's say that. Let's say that those things qualifies Fatima of being a great woman. So then my question turns to, well, what makes Zach a great man? Does he encourage her? Does he give her words of affirmation? Does he do things like, does he make her day? And so I've always found it very interesting yet troublesome that, I think people have given Fatima this savior complex, and she actually does have that on her own. I think that's how Tyler has written her. And it's like her expectation or her requirement of Zach is basically nothing. It's just keep doing what you're doing in the bedroom. Like a good old boy. Just keep doing what you're doing in the bedroom. And I'm like, and Zach, I be looking at him like, bruh, you just sitting there like a lump on the log, just dumb. And it's like, you don't even know when you being offended. Like, she's basically telling you, I don't care about all the other affirmations she gives Zach. Fatima treats Zach almost in a sense as like, your penis is really the only valuable thing that you have. And I've stated this before, I think that the character of Zach should be a little bit worth more than that. But for the most part, that's just what it has come down to. And so one scene that I think was very pivotal and so important is we pretty much talk about, when Karen slapped him on the airplane, or when he stated that, I should have let you die. Both, Lord Jesus, I couldn't deal with Zach. If he said that to me, there's no coming back from that. That's just me. That's just Alicia. But even after all of that, Zach still seeks Karen's approval. He still want her to give him words of affirmation, like she's proud of him. Zach, you did a great job. Like, he desires to hear those things, not Fatima. And if you think about it, Zach really doesn't care what Fatima thinks about him. And I think that throughout the second season, even though, they hadn't seen each other, hadn't talked to each other, I think that Zach has shown in a lot of his scenes that Karen is still at the forethought of his mind. And according to the definition, you just trying to waste time, or you're just trying to fill your time. What greater way to fill your time than to be with a woman who gonna let you lounge on her for free, sleep with her whenever you want, have no requirement for the things that you do while you're in her house. So it's really interesting to me with the whole thing with Fatima. Now with I'm gonna pause on them for a moment. Now going to Karen and Aaron, I completely dispel the notion that Aaron is a rebound. One, he's never been presented that way, and two, nothing about Aaron reflects that of a rebound. Now, we know that Aaron was in the picture ever since season 1, episode 2, and he's been a consistent and constant presence in Karen's life. And if you look at the show on some episodes, especially that shower scene, okay, right after the shower scene was over with Zach and Fatima, the scene goes to Karen and Aaron sitting in her living room talking. And I'm going to just tell you, I've had one rebound dude in my life, was out of a relationship. I'm lonely. Lord, I miss having a male presence. And I got a little jump off dude. And let me tell you, jump off dudes and rebounds, they don't come with standards. They don't come with standards. Aaron came with standards. You will not talk to me like that. We're going to sit down. We're going to be civil. Like, I like that. Rebounds don't come with standards, y'all. Ain't no standards in no damn rebound, men or women. And so I've always valued the fact that Aaron has added a certain tranquility into Karen's life, because she's quick to go off. She quick to snap. I'm not saying she's completely changed from that, but when it comes to him, she is definitely a more calmer person. A person who's more, apt to listen to reason. And that's not a rebound. A rebound has mostly everything to do with sex. We know that they both want to engage in sex. It ain't happening, but that's not the foundation of what they have. When you look at Fatima and Zach, everything about them is rooted and grounded in some type of sexual discussion. Even if they're talking about something serious, it may last a few seconds, and then sex always rear its head into their conversations. And so I'm just curious. And one of the reasons why I want to do this video is because me and a young lady who I was conversing with about this, she was a very, very strong Zach and Fatima rider. She feels like they're in game. And I'm just like, okay, sis, I have no problem. You can think what you want to think. But tell me in detail what Zach has done to make you believe that he's in a relationship with Fatima. Because someone stated, they was like, well, I hope Zach don't cheat on Fatima with Karen next week. And I said, well, you can't cheat on someone who you're not in a relationship with. So I was a bit, and I think this is the thing, like, when people send me messages, like, I do read them, and there's many people who watch my videos who they know we communicate often about the show. And so I ain't gonna back down from a debate because I come with facts. I come with no episode 2, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what episode, what scene. I give it right because I don't want to get up here and give erroneous information and have people come at me, because people will. People will do. People be waiting for you to just jack up one good time so they can read you for filth about you not knowing what the hell you talking about. And so when I think about Fatima and Zach, like I said, Fatima cool. I have no problem with Fatima. I just want Fatima to be real, because right now Fatima ain't being all the way real. She's not been all the way real. When Zach asked her, like, are you getting serious? And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, no, you are. Fatima feels Zach way more than she's letting on. Way more than what she's letting on. And I understand, too, like, what woman wants to consistently hear you talk about your ex? But at the same time, I would be wondering, why are you thinking about your ex now? This week's episode, Zach literally just got done having sex. And he was, gathering himself to come up out of her, for a better lack of words. And instantly, within a few seconds, he was bringing up Karen. And I'm just like, why are you thinking about Karen now? You know what I'm saying? This is the wrong time. But he did. And I just feel like a major difference is intimacy when you're talking about a rebound in comparison to someone who you're actually building something with. And I think going back to the scene after the shower, we see Karen and Aaron, and they're talking about something that's important. Hey, you need to know this. If you do this, I'll be upset, but I'm still gonna be here. The timeline for my, abstinence is, when I get married. And Karen like, I don't know if I could do that. Having those type of conversations so you know where each other stand on certain topics. Fatima and Zach don't have that. And this is not something that is like, the girl was just she was so like, downright becoming angry with me because I didn't agree with her. And I'm like, someone could watch this video and not agree with anything that I say about Zach and Fatima, and that's fine. But everybody have a perspective, and everyone have, a vantage point about what you see and what you don't see. I believe if we watch the show that Tyler Perry filmed and that the actors, performed on, everybody who see that, they know ain't no relationship there. So the other two shows that be going on, the one where people edit out their own stuff and add their own stuff in, at that point you can say, yeah, they're in a relationship because I put them in one. But the value, I think the value of both dynamics, the value of Fatima and Zach really shows what happens when you just jump in body first and you just having a good time. Zach and Fatima are having a great time. They're fun. People say, oh, they just so much fun. All they do is have sex. Where's the fun? That's all they do. They don't talk about jack. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't. But I, when I talked about this in my review of the Severing All Ties episode, and it's like, it's really sad, because I think some people, like, when you go into these groups and someone may make a statement that a lot of people don't agree with, and then that person will say, well, it's just a show, it ain't that serious. No, you're only saying that because A, people didn't agree with you, B, you have no comeback for what they said, and C, when you really think about what you typed, it was very problematic. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, this show really will make people examine how they feel on certain things, but it will also shine a light on you. Sis, you may not be where you think you are. Bruh, I'm going to need you not to be a Zach out here in these streets. So it's like, being a rebound is, I ain't going to even say it's a bad thing when you understand what you into. But, because the young lady asked, like, would I be upset or mad or hurt for Fatima? And I was like, nah, because Fatima knew what she was getting herself into. There is no way in hell a man could tell me, you going to this hotel to get your girl or whatever, and I'm just supposed to roll with it when I clearly know you're not over it. And there are some women who think the power of their coochie can change a man's mind about who he loves. Sis, you were just a good lay, but who he loves is who he loves. And I think that's exactly what we're saying while we're gonna see Zach crying his eyes out in next week's episode. Let me say that back. He may be crying, but ain't nothing coming down his eyes. So I had to correct myself. But and I think that's why we see that. It's hurt on both sides. For many reasons, it's hurt on both sides. And when you're in that place of vulnerability, it's easy to find someone to connect with. It really, really is. I just think that what we have seen consistently between the two dynamics is Karen actually wanting a relationship, actually wanting to grow with Aaron, really liking him, wanting to be around him, spend time with him. And it has absolutely nothing to do with sex. In comparison to seeing Fatima and Zach, who their sole identifier is founded in sex. You know what I'm saying? So I am interested, and we are going to see what happens between these two dynamics, between these two couples. And if you're a rebound, baby, be the best rebound you could be. That is horrible advice, but I'm just saying, if you going to be something, damn it, be the best at it. But yeah,